Welcome to a 2015 edition of Peek at the Future. Today, we're looking at Koltyr. Coltar? Yeah, something like that. This is a new player zone for Planetside 2. So, as we look at the map here, you can see it's a sort of three-pronged affair. One faction has an amp station, one faction has a biolab, one faction has a tech plant, and there's a kind of small town in the middle that consists of tower bases. So let's have a quick look around this place. Warp gates, exactly as you'd expect. After all, this is a new player, essentially training facility, so that they're not thrown in with the rest of us ruffians out in the live servers. It's a vaguely Amarishy kind of feel. It's not that large, but it's large enough to be interesting. There are some rough edges, no doubt, but as you can see from this aerial view, the warp gate and then its associated large facility, Biolab there, enough for people to learn how the game works. And then underneath us, in the centre of the map, the tower bases. So there's some sort of slightly interesting things going on. And let's be honest, most of us who are on Reddit or on YouTube or whatever watching Planetside videos probably aren't going to be spending a lot of time here. But there's some nods to what maybe the thoughts of map and base designers in the future. So as we look at this harasser bouncing around, you can tell that there's some rough edges to this so far. It really is work in progress. So I'll zip us over to the tech plant, and it is pretty much as you would imagine a tech plant to look. Nothing particularly fancy going on that I could see. Yeah, it's like a tech plant. At the moment there's no shields and stuff in some bases, to be expected. I do kind of like some of these open fields. I say fields, I mean flat areas. Reminds me a bit of old Esamir, which I still mourn the loss of. So here's one of the centre bases. Coltar Tech Plant Outpost. And the first instance of where we see something a little bit new that isn't actually on live servers, but is on this new continent on PTS. I'm not talking about the harasser climbing the stairs, that's everywhere of course. What we have now is a kind of fully armoured bridge. No gaps in it. It sounds good because it's going to protect you from all kinds of incoming fire, but at the same time it does stop you from jumping off when it accidentally turns up round the door. Other sections of this base kinda look as expected, really. Do like these little details, little awnings. Make the place feel a little bit more interesting. The tower itself is a tower, so I'm not going to take you through the whole thing because it is exactly what you'd imagine. So back to the harasser, and Johnny Rocket Pants our way out of there. So let's have a look at another one of these central bases. This is the one nearest the biolab. Some little interesting asides. And now up to the biolab itself. And if you're a bit of a nerd like me for graphics and game engine stuff, you can see that's a really sharp edge on the ground there. Like someone's been sculpting this landscape and things have just got a little bit too harsh. Super nerds may think about height fields and things like that and how you can get erosion stuff to run over them to make them look a little bit more realistic. And a nice little bug here, where I actually exit the harasser and it puts me on the floor above. So I wasn't thrown out like the old drop from a very high bug, but it just threw me onto the floor above, which was, you know, potentially useful. So this is a little bit different of a landing pad for the Biolab here. Part of me wants to see these actually on live. A few little places to hide behind as you pop up, which I think we all agree would be useful, at least sometimes. And inside the Biolab, couldn't see anything particularly spectacular. Just the inside of a Biolab, really. But one unusual part of this is the fact that the Biolab isn't on legs. It's a sort of hard-standing Biolab, if you wish. See from this quick flight around that this rear pad is also fully attached to the ground. Even had a little railing there to the right as we landed. So back into the harasser. Where should we go to next? The warp gates at the moment, you can actually drive into them. The shields don't seem to be working that well. Let's go to the final base in the middle. And as you can see, the harasser still bounces around a lot. So yeah, pretty Amarishy kind of feel to the place. Again, this isn't a new continent for us to play around with. As we drive past what I would imagine is some sort of shadow creation of the bright white Sunderer. This again is another plane tower basically. But as I was saying, this isn't another continent for us to play on. This is a new player training area where people of low battle rank can learn the game in, relative safety. These outer buildings, reminiscent of ones that you've seen on Hossen and other places, the center cap point, raised sort of mezzanine areas at the side. One small interesting addition to this base, again, I would expect to see on live at some point really. Full covered sides to that spawn. I think some bases could probably do with that kind of protection. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're playing on bases like that soon. I say soon, it's kind of got quotes around it. So up to the amp station. Now this one is a little bit different. Main structure of the inside, not so different, but have you noticed that vehicle shielded entryway is actually on the wrong side for a normal amp station. Still got the unshielded ones right on the corner, as you can see, but the main routes in that you'd normally have aren't there. The kind of corner entrances. But from overhead in a muzzy, you can see that new entryway is right next to that first building, which is right next to the spawn room, rather than it being right in the corner. Will that change the way it plays a lot? I don't know, we'll see. All the rest of the buildings, pretty much standard amp station. Some little bits adjusted here and there, but no major changes that I could see. So, another aerial shot of the new continent. I suppose we should call this a new continent. Some interesting things going on. It feels big enough to have competitive play on, really. It's compact enough that a couple of outfits playing on it would be quite interesting, I think. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. Well, thank you very much for watching. I actually had wanted to get one extra video out at the end of last year, but it didn't happen because of holidays and that kind of thing. And I was actually working on a new medic video. Spoiler alert, it's going to be about the medic shield, the medic bubble, as it were. But then all of a sudden people went Coltyr crazy, so I thought I should get one of these out so people can have a look at what's brewing on PTS. So if you like this kind of content, why not hit that subscribe button? And if you didn't, why not leave me a comment to tell me why, so I can improve things and maybe win you over with charm and wit. Or, not. So thanks again, I'll see you next time. Take care.